Yo, Todd here, Center Valley Customs. Welcome back to anyone that follows. Welcome to everyone else. Now this video, based on the thumbnail, maybe, and what you're looking for, is going to be the anyone else. So today I'm not working on any vehicles, no projects, nothing like that. Well, I guess this is a project, but it's a personal project of mine. So today I'm going to be putting the third function on my TYM 474 tractor. So when I bought this tractor, I wanted to more or less have it decked out with all the options, third function, rear remotes, all that kind of thing. And me, like everyone else, or a lot of other people that I've seen online, bought this tractor because they thought it had the third function. It doesn't have the third function, it's third function ready, meaning the wiring is all there for the third function. The joystick already has the third function buttons on it, but the valve and all the plumbing for it is not there. So, with that being said, if you go to TYM and you want to buy the third function, I want to say it's $1,000. It's like $1,000 to $1,100. I thought that was just stupidly overpriced, and if you know me and watch my channel, I am a cheap ass. So I will do anything I can not to spend that much money. So what I did was I searched and searched and searched, and I found the parts, majority of the parts, to install the third function. Now, I contemplated on doing this video at all because technically I'm missing some of the parts that I knew I didn't have, which was fine, but I'm missing 2 Banjo bolts that I cannot find. So essentially at the end of this video, we're really not going to accomplish much, but I wanted to put this out there to be more informational per se, because all the videos I've looked up, I have not found the information. I've not seen the information on any videos that I found, put it that way. So when I went to my dealer and tried to get a parts list of the third function so I could go order the parts myself. They would not give it to me. I don't know if they didn't have it or if they just straight out wouldn't give it to me. I don't know. But one day, while I was at work, probably on my lunch break, I found the parts list for the third function, and I just so happened to find the parts on eBay. Now, like I said, the third function parts, the kit from the dealership TYM, $1,000 to $1,100. I ordered these parts for about $200, actually a little less than $200. Now, with the kit from TYM, you get, like I said, this is already third function ready, but it's not third function. You don't actually have the third function. So with the kit, you buy the valve that goes on here that has the solenoids on it already, the wiring harness, so this is already wired. There's some wires here for it, and there's another wiring harness or a connector underneath here somewheres. There's a bracket that's supposed to come out here, so when the steel lines come off of the valve, they bolt to that, and it's kind of a protection bracket so you don't smash any of the stuff that's under here. Comes with some couplings, some rubber line that runs up here to another coupling that goes to steel lines. The steel lines attach just like they attach on top of this. Actually, there's 2 steel lines that will attach on top of your other steel lines, and they run all the way down to the front. There's a bracket that goes on here, and then they come down. There's some couplings there. Now, the OEM kit is a really nice kit, don't get me wrong. It's just $1,000. So I wasn't going to spend $1,000. So I don't have the steel lines. I don't have the steel lines, I don't have the bracket, and I already have some long hydraulic lines, so I figured, who cares, I'll just run rubber lines all the way down to the front here, and then I'll make my own little bracket with some couplings on it, bulkhead couplings, whatever. So I'll show you what I have, and I'll give you the part numbers and all that kind of thing. So in the description, I'm going to put a couple links to, for sure, a forum that has 2 documents that are attached in it. And there'll be a parts diagram and a parts list for specifically the 474, but you may be able to use those diagrams to order some optional parts, whatever, for your own tractor. TYM is terrible for trying to find parts, more or less. So, like I said, I'll put that link in the description. You'll have to download the 2 files. One thing to note, the item number in the diagram matches up with the item number in the other PDF. I didn't realize that until yesterday while I was looking for the parts that I was missing. So if you open both of those documents, you find the diagram you want, you find the number, you go to the other document, you find the item number, that will be your part number. So little tidbit of information there. These are the parts that I ordered. Not that, that's separate. Anyway, all these parts that are here is technically 2 separate part numbers. So I bought this valve, which came with the bolts to bolt the valve, and then this plunger thing. So a lot of people forget to put this in their valve bank, and without this, your third function will work as a diverter valve. So when you use the third function buttons, you'll have to move the joystick also. That will let you bypass that. So when you use the buttons, it'll just work like normal. This all came with this part number. Hopefully you can see that. Okay. Now the other bag that I got here, this part number, came with this harness, these 2 steel lines, couple couplings, some hardware and a clip, and some, what do they call them? Compression washer things, whatever, which they call it a seal. So part number for this is this. Part number for these seals. Part number for this coupling, these couplings. Part number for this clip. And then these bolts don't have a part number on them. But like I said, oh, and this wiring harness, sorry. So like I said, those all came in within this kit. So what I am missing is I need 2 Banjo bolts that bolt this to here like this. Okay, so you take these 2 plugs out and you bolt this to this. I do not have those Banjo bolts. Now, I do not know if they do not come in this kit, or when I ordered this kit, this bag was already open, so I don't know if I'm just missing the bolts. So that is something you're gonna have to just roll the dice on, more or less. I would assume that those Banjo bolts should come with this kit, and I'm going to assume that whoever sold me this stole them or lost them or something, okay? So that, we are not going to be able to bolt these onto here. I thought about making my own bolts. Unfortunately, I don't really know what the thread is for this. I know that, I believe this is a 3/8 pipe thread, is what I believe this is, 3/8 MPT. But how do I find 3/8 MPT Banjo bolts? I don't know. So, like I said earlier, with TYM being stupid, on those 2 documents that will be in that link, I found the part number for the bolts, but I cannot find the bolts anywhere. So I am probably going to end up rigging this up somehow with a bunch of random 3/8 MPT pipe to get around this valve like this. Okay, so that's what I mean by when I say, like, we're probably not going to be able to accomplish much, but this is just more informational for you to know what you need to order, and whether or not you want to roll the dice in doing what I'm doing. So, and these seals are for the Banjo bolts that go through here. So you put one on one side, one on the other side, and then the Banjo bolt goes through. So that's that. So hopefully this video isn't too hard to follow. I apologize, it's not going to be great. But what we are going to accomplish today is at least get this valve put on, and then get this wiring done, and then that's going to be all I can do until I find all the fittings and all the other garbage that I need to make the rest work. So let's get this valve put on, show you where that wiring is, and that's unfortunately going to be all I can do today. So on your valve, there's a plate on here that comes off, and your third function will bolt on the bottom of that. So I'm going to crack all these loose. You're going to get hydraulic fluid to leak out of here. So make sure you have yourself a bucket available. I don't know how much hydraulic fluid is going to come out of here. So you probably want to do this quickly. I'm going to do this more or less slowly so I can show you what we got going on here. There should be O-rings under here. So be careful you don't lose the O-rings, because that's what seals this machine surface to that. So let's get this pulled off of here, see what happens. Now I don't know, so the original bolts are the same length as the ones that came with the valve. So if you don't get the bolts, I guess I wouldn't be worried about it. Took two. Okay, I guess I took them out already. I should grab some towel because my hands are going to get full of crap. Let me grab that quick. Okay, so I got those bolts out. I'm just going to knock this off. Oop, just like that. Like I said, there should be O-rings on here, so make sure you don't lose them. So they're all still intact. Ideally, you'd probably want to wipe that surface off to make sure it's clean. I guess I'll try to do. I almost feel like wiping it off will do worse than just putting the other one on, because you already had this sealed surface against there covering all that up, so there really shouldn't be any dirt on here. So that's what that looks like. Like I said, make sure you don't lose any of these O-rings. So now you want to take this piece that came with the third function valve, and there's a big end and a small end. You want to put the small end in this hole first and push it all the way up in there. Ooh, it fits in there pretty tight. I need two hands. Okay, so now I stuck a bolt through this valve, and I'm just going to bolt this right up to it, using the new hardware just because, I don't know, it's new hardware. Probably going to make a mess. Sorry, my hand is in the way too. Okay, you want to make sure you torque all these bolts to tight. I don't know, whatever that is. So there's that valve all bolted up. Not bad. There's caps on here. I believe there's a knob so you can change how much flow you want depending on which button you use on the third function joystick, whatever you want to call it. Wiring, so there's 3 plugs here that come from the joystick make sure you clean these connections up if yours tractor has been, ran a while and haven't had these plugged in. There is a power connector on my tractor. It's under here. See if I can find it. I can see it with my eyes. Right there. There's a dummy connector in it, so you pull this out and plug the regular connector into it. And then 2 plugs for the solenoids. These are labeled B3 and A3. I don't know which one it goes to. In my case, doesn't matter. If you want to switch them, you can just switch the connectors at the solenoid, which will change which button runs which solenoid, or you can flip-flop whichever coupler you have here. I don't have anything that's third function capable or any attachments that have the third function. My plan for all this was to add a cylinder for my snowplow so that I can angle it off the joystick instead of having to get off all the time and play with the pin. But I made that, and I'll probably be farther ahead just to get a different plow and add a quick attach plate to it. So I'm gonna finish getting this wired up. Make sure when you run these, you zip tie them to places where the wires aren't gonna get snagged. And that's about as far as we can go today, unfortunately, with the parts that I have. So I got all this wired up. Like I said, these wires are labeled A3 and B3. It's in the casting here, they have B1, A1, A2, B2. So one of these is B3 and one of these is A3, but it's not stamped anywhere in the casting on here. So like I said, it doesn't really matter. I can flip them around eventually, however I feel. I got this zipped here, you can see, and then I got my connector under here somewheres. Can't see it. And I got this all zipped up. And I cleaned those terminals, like I said before. Make sure you clean those up. Now, if you had the OEM kit, there would be a bracket that bolts to here, comes around to here. So what that is for, which I don't have, is for these steel lines with the coupler to go on here, and then a rubber, or not rubber, but hydraulic line would go on here, follow these up, just like this, and then switch to steel, and follow the original steel lines down, and then there'd be a bracket here, and then some more quick connect couplers here. So my plan was to just run regular hydraulic hose from down there all the way up here, and then just have, the couplers like it's supposed to be. Unfortunately, like I already explained, I don't have the Banjo bolt to bolt this to here. So I don't know what I'm going to do with that yet. I'm going to do my best to try to find the bolts, or find some bolts I can turn into Banjo bolts, and try to kind of go with what the OEM has here. But yeah, oh, there's also a clip where if you had that bracket, this clip would bolt these lines to that bracket. So like I said, I would like to have that bracket actually, but I don't have it, so it is what it is. Now unfortunately I cannot test this because, previously stated, TYM is stupid, and it's hard to find parts for these because they don't give you the damn part numbers. So I'm running down another dead-end road where I pulled this fuel bowl off to clean this out, but this fuel bowl is like all warped and it's not perfectly round anymore. So I ripped this fuel filter out and then I couldn't get it back in, blah, blah, blah. I found the part number for this whole assembly on the documents that I'm going to put in the description, but I can't find the damn assembly anywhere. So I ended up ordering a whole aftermarket assembly and that whole thing. I could go right to the dealership. Yeah, they'd probably get me one. It's going to get shipped from Korea. It's going to be here in 3 years. So I'd rather just go on eBay or Amazon or wherever and buy an aftermarket one for $33. Be done with it. So that's that. So, like I said, didn't really get much accomplished, but I wanted this to be informational because a lot of the videos that I watched didn't have the information I was looking for or didn't have the information that I personally found. So hopefully this helps somebody out there, whether or not you want to try to go down the same route I did and buy all the parts yourself, or just go to TYM and buy the whole damn kit for $1,000. That's up to you. Would I like to have all the OEM, steel lines, brackets, all the stuff? Yes, I really would. But I'm a cheap ass. I ain't gonna spend $1,000 for a valve and some lines. I saw in a forum that that valve, I want to say it costs like 25 bucks. Like, stupid cheap. But whether or not that's true, I don't know. But like I said, hopefully this helps somebody out. Choose your route, I guess. Choose the way you want to go. Watch some of my other videos if you want. And catch you on the next one.